Now, last but certainly not least, Jyrki Raina. Jyrki is on the board of the Global Compact and is General Secretary of IndustriAll Global Union. Trade unions have been part of the Compact from its inception. Jyrki, please, the floor is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, according to an Oxfam study published in January, the richest 1% will by next year earn more than half of the world's wealth. That is more than the remaining 99% altogether. At the same time, 70% of the world's population does not have proper social security, no pension, no adequate health care. If you fall seriously ill, you simply die. So obviously, there's something terribly wrong with our world today. Several studies have confirmed that growing inequality is one of the biggest threats to prosperity and economic growth. It's bad for business, it's bad for governments, it's bad for people. Social injustice, the lack of hope for a better life, sparked the revolutions in Tunisia and Egypt in 2011. There will be more unrest and extremism if we do not react to what people want: decent work, social protection, and dignity. Therefore, it is so appropriate that reducing inequality is one of the Sustainable Development Goals. So how do we get there? Part of the solution is that we address both the top and the bottom. In both cases, business can and should contribute. On the top, corporations and wealthy individuals need to pay their fair share of taxes. If everybody does that, and we get rid of the tax havens where $2 trillion lie today, then we can ensure quality public services and social protection for all citizens. That will help to reduce poverty. In the bottom, we need to make sure that every worker earns a living wage. That is a human right enshrined in the UN Declaration from 1948. When parents earn a living wage that is sufficient for decent housing, food, healthcare, and education, then their children can go to school instead of going to work. Today's reality is rather sad. In Bangladesh, even though the Bangladesh Accord signed by IndustriAll Union and 200 global garment brands is making the factories in the garment industry safe for millions of workers, they are still toiling 60 hours and more a week because the minimum wage is only $68 a month. Just doubling their earnings to start with cost practically nothing. It will raise the price of a t-shirt by only 50 cents. So let's not wait, let's fix this together, business and labor, and make the supply chain sustainable. We need the help of business to guarantee freedom of association and to promote collective bargaining in the supplier companies. Global unions, and especially IndustriAll and Uni, believe in a partnership with companies. We have signed altogether over 100 global framework agreements with your corporations during the past 15 years, covering well over 10 million workers, developing constructive labor management relations in factories and workplaces, and solving problems. Georg, it would have not been possible without the UN Global Compact, without the mutual trust that we have built, without the understanding that we are building a more sustainable world together. I hope that in the years to come, we will have 1,000 global framework agreements covering hundreds of millions of workers, showing that the partnership approach has become the new normal. It's good for business, good for workers, and good for governments. So to finish off, my dream is that guaranteeing a living wage to all workers throughout our supply chains, your supply chains worldwide, becomes the next big thing for the UN Global Compact and for the thousands of companies that have signed up to the 10 principles. A living wage is what the workers and their families need and deserve. And believe me, it will transform their lives, their communities, their societies. That is business at its best, a transformative force for good. That is, as we say in the labor world, true global solidarity. We, the global labor, are prepared and willing to work with you for a better and more sustainable world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jyrki. He has left a big challenge for the board of the Global Compact and my successor. I think it will be an enormously important agenda ahead.